The Conway Regional Health System pregame show continues. We are in week 2. It's the third game. That's because we have week 0. I hope somebody at some point changes that in my lifetime. It's so terribly confusing, but it is our third game, guys, and we are 1-1. Convincing victory over Jonesboro. Very difficult trip to Northwest Arkansas, 1-1, and now a trip 344 miles the other direction to Marion. Let's talk about Bentonville. It was a difficult trip in a lot of ways, not the least of which was on the scoreboard, Levi.
Yeah, they're the number 2 team in the state for a reason. I think that was obvious when you watch the game. Just the physicality up front. I mean, not many teams are going to make our guys look small up front, but Bentonville is certainly one of them. We'll see another one like that, on down the line in week 10. We're going to see some guys that are going to make us look small this week too, but we'll get to that in a minute. Just the physicality, the discipline, they're strong in all the areas where we're not yet strong. And I say not yet because I'm not giving up on anything. We can get there. We can make some gains, but it's gonna take a lot of work. And it's a strange thing to be at this point of the season and feeling the sting of a loss because it hasn't happened in the Buck James era here in Conway. So that's an interesting wrinkle. It's interesting to see how the team's going to respond. Every time he's lost a game, we either had a bye immediately after or the season was over. So we've never really seen a Buck James team have to respond the very next week. So a lot of strange things going on with the season right now. Tim can speak to Bentonville even more than I'm doing right now, but a lot of strange things going on. But I'm strangely excited about it because it's going to be things that we haven't seen before, and we're going to really see so much earlier in the season, what is this team made of? A lot of times we haven't figured that out until the end of the season. We're going to know really soon what this team is made of. And for some reason that has me strangely excited.
Well, it was, for me, it was the game really defined itself right away when we made a big play defensively and then could not move the ball at all and had to settle for a field goal. That was kind of my, okay, this may be a lot tougher than what I thought. But also, we didn't make any plays. I mean, after that one turnover that we created early in the ball game, we really didn't do much. We only scored 1 touchdown offensively, and defensively, we did some good things. I thought defensively in the second half, we ran the ball well in the second half. Trey Harris had a great night. But really, outside of maybe 2 or 3 other moments in the game offensively, just really didn't do much. And that was a little concerning. But to Levi's point, they've had a very short week to get some things corrected. This is a young team and it's an inexperienced team. We'll know a lot more after a visit to a very good Marion team.
So just some transparency here. We record these interviews on Thursday, the day prior to the game. And so I'm going to reference something that was in this morning's newspaper, which means the Thursday newspaper. And that's the news about Wesley Tapp. The Arkansas Democrat Gazette reporting 4 to 6 weeks that he is out. We saw the injury at the end of in the Bentonville game and Ryder Cook taking over. Levi, I think to your point about we're going to find out what this team is about. That's one of the places where we're going to find out what this team is about. An experienced senior quarterback and an inexperienced and talented, but inexperienced sophomore quarterback in Ryder Cook.
Yeah. And I think if you're looking at the news specifically with Tapp, I mean, we've heard as early as 4 weeks. We've heard as late as 8 weeks. We're hearing a range of timelines, but in any case, it doesn't mean that we won't see him again,
Right.
But if we do, it's probably going to be a while. And so, yeah, it's just an amazing amount of adversity this team is having to face this early in the season, which they've just not had to do in the previous years under Buck James. But I think Ryder Cook brings a slightly different element to the game. And he's a sophomore. He's inexperienced at this level, so he's going to have to learn a lot really quickly. He doesn't have quite the same arm as Wesley Tapp, but he can run the ball. So it's gonna make some interesting wrinkles for this offense that maybe we weren't expecting to have to see at this point in the season. This is another thing I hate it for Wesley Tapp. I'm excited that he's going to have a chance to come back because that, it means his season's not over. We'd love to see him again. We saw it play out like this last year. Senior quarterback went out for an extended amount of time, and he was able to come back in the playoffs. So I can't wait to see Wesley Tapp back on the field, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I'm also a little excited to see what Ryder Cook can do, because I think he can do some things for this team. And it's just going to, again, we're going to see how this team rallies in all kinds of ways, and we're going to know very quickly what they've got.
I think you mentioned the rally, and I think that's really kind of what we're talking about here. This is an opportunity. If you ever needed one, if you were leaning on Wesley Tapp and his abilities to be able to lead you, now you don't have that ability, but you have a young guy that's trying to prove himself and has all kinds of skills. What better way to rally the troops around that quarterback? Your offensive line has to block better than what they were doing. The running backs need to run more effectively in space. Your wide receivers need to catch the ball better and run crisp routes. Everybody's forced to focus because you have a new quarterback. So maybe this is the right thing. I hate it for Tapp, but maybe it's the right moment to get guys lined up and ready to go again.
Couple of great families that both of these quarterbacks come from, high character kids. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Wesley finds himself in mentor mode, even though he can't be on the field. He's going to be an extra set of eyes and a voice in Ryder Cook's ear. And so we'll see how this plays out, of course. But our best to Wesley and his recovery. And we look forward to watching Ryder tonight and the rest of the season. Speaking of tonight, the Marion Patriots team we played a year ago handled them pretty easily. They're playing some pretty good football. Now, granted, it was a step down in class, down to a couple of 5A schools, but they've outscored them 111-34. This is going to be a challenge on Friday night, Levi.
Yeah, averaging 55 points a game right now. I mean, in 2 games. Yeah, granted, they're playing teams that just physically aren't going to stack up to what they're going to see from us tonight. But it sometimes that stuff doesn't matter. If you've got speed, you can outrun size some of the time. And they definitely have guys like that on the offensive side of the ball. They've got 3 different receivers that can go vertical. That if you have a defense that's prone to giving up big plays, does that sound familiar? It could get dangerous. It could get a little dicey for us tonight. And they got a quarterback that can just flat out run away from you. So we're going to have to play very disciplined football defensively, which we haven't been doing. And so, it's not for lack of effort. It's not for lack of coaching. They haven't had it all together as long as they would have liked because of new coaching staff, a lot of new players on the defense side of the ball. It's going to turn around at some point. They're going to make a turn. Will it be tonight? I hope it starts to turn tonight. But we said it way back in week 0. You're going to have to be patient. You're not going to like everything you see that's happening on the field on Friday nights right now. But it's going to turn at some point. And I'm hoping deep in the 3rd and 4th quarter that we'll start to take advantage of our physicality, our weight and all that, and start to really lean into a team. I think that could happen, but we're going to have to play better containment on defense, or else they're going to put up some points.
Well, they're going to, I think that you'll see that they will give you opportunities to make big plays. And that's on both sides of the ball. They're very talented, Levi's point. Very athletic, very talented. Sometimes it gets away from them a little bit, but they're so athletic, they're able to recover. My hope is that for the first time really this year, we take advantage of a miscue, or we take advantage of a mistake, or we get them in the right coverage and we're able to do something with it. That's the kind of team that I think we need to see tonight, is somebody that's going to take advantage of what they give you. We have to be very disciplined on offense. We have to score a lot. And so that means taking advantage of everything they give you defensively. So it's about taking advantage of what's there and what's offered up, and then overcoming hurdles when they're created for you as well.
Momentum is an important part of any team, any season. And we're at a real tipping point tonight with momentum. A loss, and it's back-to-back losses. Starting quarterback is out. It's a bye week. Tough couple of weeks to get ready for Southwest and the start of the conference season. Now, a win, you've got some momentum. you've got to win. You're going into the bye week. Let's get healthy for 2 weeks. Let's look at the schedule and see that it's favorable in the early part of the conference season. I think it's an important part. I don't know if that's something that Coach will talk about, but I think the kids probably know it, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out this evening as well.
I think it's coming across that I'm honestly more excited about this game than I've been in the first 2 games. I don't know how that makes sense. I can't explain it.
It is coming across.
Morbid curiosity, maybe. I don't know. But I'm thrilled that I'm going to learn something about this team in week 2. I don't know that I learned anything about the last 2 teams in week 2, honestly. Yeah. And good or bad. And that's not dependent on the outcome tonight, by the way. Win or a loss, I can still learn some really great things about this team. And that's what I'm really hoping to see is, like, what are they made of? What are they going to do with their back against the wall? Are they going to stand up to it? I want to see that, and I'm hopeful that we will.
You got a week off coming. Coach talked about it in his discussion. We're still coaching effort. You can't do that. You have to coach. You have to coach the X's and the O's, not the effort. The effort has to be there to start with, and so it's on the coaches. They'll tell you that to get to the point where they can X and O instead of effort. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of effort tonight because we get a week off and a chance to regroup.
The Senior Spotlight is next. You guys will visit with Josh Vences and get a chance to talk to that senior. And then Coach James will be along with you. And then I'll have a look at the 7A Central report. We'll do that before we send it back to you guys live at Marion High School. It's all coming up tonight. It is week 2. It's the 3rd game of the Wampus Cat season. It's happening tonight on Conway Corp.